Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most intense and, honestly, surprising moments in Jesus' ministry. We often picture Jesus as calm, gentle, and serene, right? The teacher surrounded by little children, the healer with a compassionate touch. And while that's absolutely true, there's another side to him, a side that shows his fierce passion for holiness and his zero tolerance for hypocrisy. We're going to explore two back-to-back stories that reveal this fiery passion, the cleansing of the temple and the cursing of the fig tree. These events happened during the final week of his life, what we now call Passion Week, and they are packed with meaning. They're not just about flipping tables or a withered plant. They're powerful, symbolic acts that challenge us to look at our own faith and ask some tough questions. So, grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's unpack these incredible moments together. It all starts with Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. The crowds are cheering, waving palm branches, hailing him as a king. There's this huge buzz of excitement and expectation in the air. But instead of going straight to the governor's palace or starting a political movement, where does Jesus go? He goes to the temple. Mark's gospel tells us he went in, looked around at everything, and since it was already late, he left for Bethany with the 12. He just observed. Can you imagine the tension? He sees it all, takes it all in, and then leaves. It's like the calm before the storm. The very next morning, he returns to the city, and this is where things get dramatic. On his way back to Jerusalem, the Gospel of Mark tells us Jesus was hungry. He sees a fig tree in the distance that has leaves, which usually meant it would have fruit. But when he gets closer, he finds nothing but leaves, and then he does something shocking. He says to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." The disciples heard him say it, and they just moved on. It's a strange little moment, seemingly random. Why would Jesus curse a tree for not having fruit when it wasn't even the season for figs? We'll circle back to this, because this act is the key to understanding what happens next. Jesus and his disciples arrive at the temple. But what they find isn't a house of prayer. It's chaos. The outer court, the court of the Gentiles, the one area where non-Jewish people were welcome to come and worship God, has been turned into a noisy, bustling marketplace. People are selling oxen, sheep, and doves for sacrifices, often at inflated prices. Money changers are there, exchanging Roman coins, which had the emperor's image on them, for special temple currency, and they were taking a hefty commission. It was a system that exploited the poor and excluded the very people who were seeking God. The path to worship was literally blocked by commerce and corruption. This is when we see that fire in Jesus' eyes. He doesn't just politely ask them to leave. He starts driving them out. He overturns the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. The Gospels paint a picture of righteous fury. He declares, "Is it not written, 'My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations'? But you have made it a den of robbers." He's quoting the prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah, and his message is crystal clear. They had taken something sacred, a place meant for everyone to connect with God, and turned it into a place of greed and exclusion. It wasn't just a marketplace, it was a den of robbers, a place where people were being cheated in the name of religion. This wasn't just an angry outburst, it was a deliberate, prophetic act. He was reclaiming his Father's house. Now, let's connect this back to that fig tree. The next morning, as they are walking back, Peter notices the same fig tree from the day before, and it's withered from the roots up. He points it out to Jesus. The disciples are amazed. But Jesus uses this moment to teach them about faith. The fig tree, with all its leaves, looked promising. It had the outward appearance of life and fruitfulness, but it was barren. It was all show and no substance. Sound familiar? The temple in Jerusalem had become just like that fig tree. It had all the outward signs of religion, the magnificent building, the priests, the sacrifices, the rituals. It looked impressive, but on the inside, it was spiritually barren. The corruption, the greed, the exclusion, it was all leaves, no fruit. So, when Jesus cursed the fig tree, he was performing a living parable. It was a symbolic judgment on the religious system of the day that had become hypocritical and fruitless. It was a warning. Just like the tree that looked alive but was dead inside, the temple's magnificent structure couldn't hide its spiritual decay. Jesus wasn't just mad about the noise and the business. He was heartbroken and angry that the very place designed to draw people to God was now pushing them away. He was cleansing the temple not just of merchants, but of the hypocrisy that had taken root there. So what does this mean for us today? These stories are a powerful gut check for our own faith. It's so easy to get caught up in the leaves of religion, going to church, singing the songs, knowing the right language, and neglect the fruit. What is the fruit? The Bible tells us it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. It's a genuine love for God that results in a genuine love for people. Jesus is looking for authenticity. He's looking for hearts that are truly devoted to Him, not just going through the motions. These passages challenge us to examine our own hearts. Have we allowed parts of our temple, our lives, to become cluttered with things that don't belong? Have we become like the fruitless fig tree, with an outward appearance of faith but lacking real, transformative fruit? Are our churches and communities truly houses of prayer for all nations, welcoming and open? Or have we created barriers that keep people away from God? Jesus' actions show us that He is passionate about true worship and authentic faith. He wants our hearts, not just our rituals. He wants fruit, not just leaves. The cleansing of the temple and the cursed fig tree are a wake-up call. They remind us that God's house and our hearts are meant for a sacred purpose. Let's make sure we are keeping them that way. Thanks so much for watching and thinking through these powerful stories with me. This message is based on spiritual materials found at lsm.org. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.